to another episode of Hard Factor. It is another What the Fuck Wednesday, March 31st, 2021, episode number 657 of Hard Factor. I'm Will. We got Marc, Pat, Wes, the entire crew in the house today. And boys, I don't need to look up what day March 31st, 2021 is today because I know what day it is. It's the launch date of Fat Boy Summer.
Oh, okay? Yeah.
You guys with me on this? You guys with me on this? Have you seen Chet Hanks? He's trying to brand White Boy Summer. Yeah,
that's a little weird, but Fat Boy Summer is in.
Right. I don't know if it's in. I want to hear you out here, Will, because I'm immediately trepidatious because it sounds at odds with the Fatathon. But okay, you tell me.
Fat Boy Summer. So we're not down with the Chet Hanks White Boy Summer. That sounds a little non-inclusive for my taste. But at Fat Boy Summer, you can embrace yourself regardless of race, religion, creed. Whether you're a fat boy in body or mind, you know, you just got to get that Fat Boy Summer vibe going on. And Fat Boy Summer is just about enjoying yourself. You know, it's just about having the Fat Boy Summer mindset where you're just going to not be ashamed. You're going to do what you want and you're going to live your best life. And I think that it just speaks for itself.
You can still lose weight and be a fat boy and be proud of it. Look, Pat, here's what we're going to do.
I could lose 100 pounds and I'd still be fat.
Go.
Yeah, but that's unique to you. That is true.
Hey, there's a lot of people out there. Why are you fat shaming?
I'm not trying to fat shame. I'm just confused because I thought we were doing Fatathon.
We are.
Tighten it up.
So we are, but what is that? So we can't. So what? You want us to demonize Fat Boy Summer? Then I don't understand.
I don't want skinny boy summer.
Yeah, I don't understand.
Okay, I don't know. I just how about? I mean, yeah, it's good. I like it. I love it. I get it, and I love it, and it's a.
Sounds like you're a fat shamer.
You better get on board. Look, what we're going to do is we're going to sell a bunch of swimsuits. And by swimsuits, I mean T-shirt swimsuit combos.
Okay, I like this.
Yeah, so like you can go to the pool this summer with your T-shirt on and feel cool because it's Fat Boy Summer. So like it's the swimsuit is in fact a two-part outfit. It's the oversized shirt and then the trunks.
We can skinny shame if we want.
Yeah, look at this skinny ass motherfucker.
No, you don't shame anybody.
Look at this no T-shirt wearing motherfucker in the pool.
No. Fat Boy's good.
Look at how good he looks.
No. Fat Boy Summer is an empowerment movement for everybody.
Look at his hot girlfriend, probably shallow as shit.
Yeah.
That's right.
Well, we're talking about like youth titty boy pool attire. That's what we're talking about, right?
We're trying to normalize Fat Boy
that,
Summer. Yeah. We're talking about look, if you got a couple extra pounds, it's all right. It's okay. And COVID, Pat. COVID, I don't know if you heard about it, but it was a pretty big pandemic. And most of the people around the world ended up fatter at the end of that than they were at the start of that. So Fat Boy Summer, you just got to embrace it, okay? We all got a little extra heft going on. We all, not all, maybe not everybody, but a lot of people.
I do. I'm not excluding myself from the group.
Okay. So you
Wes,
just got
what else are we selling? Wes?
Yeah. We're gonna do some lunch box. Well, not lunch boxes.
Lunch boxes.
We're gonna do some pool bags, beach bags.
That's what I'm talking about. Maybe some tank tops.
It's gonna be electric.
Can we get that? The old timey bathing suit, the one piece for men that no one wears anymore. Can we see if we can make that too as like a special edition?
Whatever's on Printify.
You mean like the old school professional wrestler or boxer outfit?
Kinda. They were like striped usually.
Yeah.
They were all black. Yeah.
Or you could just never take your basketball jersey off. That's what I do.
Well, who was a shirt in the pool guy?
I was.
I wasn't.
100%.
I should have been.
Wes,
for the other people at the pool.
It made it so much worse.
Did you never want to go to the pool?
It's just sucking onto my fat at all times.
Heavy ass, wet ass shirt.
Yeah.
Look, all right, hey, but that's what Fat Boy Summer's all about. It's okay. It's okay. It's 2021. It's okay.
Always hanging at the snack bar.
I don't want to go to the pool. Well, we got to get going, right? This is a packed show.
Ordering pizza to the pool.
This is a packed show. Our guest today, Cabot Phillips from the Daily Wire. He's actually going to be in Costa Rica. By the time this drops, probably eating steaks, having tropical drinks, Hawaiian shirt. That sounds like a Fat Boy Summer mindset to me.
Pura Vida, the pure life, the good life, whatever. Yeah, Costa Rica.
That's Costa Rica.
Pura Vida.
Yeah. Pura Vida. Well, let's stop fucking around. We got the interview with him right now. A couple stories after that. Stick around for those stories. But let's talk to Cabot Phillips. Welcome to the show. from the Daily Wire, Cabot Phillips. And please tell me if I butchered your name and also what you do at the Daily Wire, Cabot.
You did not butcher it. Sometimes when I'm feeling sophisticated, I go with the silent T and just Cabot Phillips.
Cabot.
We'll stick with Cabot for now. But I'm a managing editor here at the Daily Wire. For those who don't know the Daily Wire, we're a conservative-leaning media publication site run by Ben Shapiro, who I'm sure a lot of people know. A lot of people have strong feelings there. And so, we're here in Nashville, Tennessee. And so I kind of do editorial stuff, writing, do on-camera stuff, and all that.
Nice. You guys moved to Nashville, right?
We were in LA. We fled LA. It was super expensive there, and there was a lot of stuff going on that was conflicting with the company.
Before the pandemic, or
it was actually 2 days after Election Day, which is we kind of thought, the election will be over, and then we can just move afterwards. And then turns out the election didn't end after Election Day, so it was a pretty crazy time to move. But we got out of there.
Has Gina Carano been in the office yet?
She has, yeah. And so that was pretty cool. And she's sick. I mean, it was pretty cool. It was like a week when all that happened. She came right in, and I was kind of hoping she would challenge some of the guys, because a couple guys in the office do some MMA stuff, and like she could, after seeing her in person, like 100%, like beat up most.
She looks pretty diesel.
Yeah, she was the original like Ronda Rousey. She was ragdolling people back in her day.
Yeah, big lady.
Yeah, which I know it doesn't really like make her sound tough to say she could beat us up, because it's a bunch of like political bloggers, which is not really that intimidating.
She could beat you all up at the same time.
A bunch of thin boys. Well, Cabot, on that note, so right off the bat, you said Shapiro runs the Wire, and he's a very controversial figure. So I don't know if you know this, but the technically emeritus executive producer and vice president of football operations for this show is a gentleman named PFT Commenter, and he is very interested in taking Mr. Shapiro on in the ring, some sort of fisticuffs match. What are the odds that we can make that happen, do you think?
It honestly, it depends on what the rules are, because if Ben is allowed to use his like ESP mind powers to get into PFT's head, he could destroy him with facts and logic before the fight even started, which could be a problem. And so PFT would be so broken down, and he'd be all disoriented. Although I do think that his PFT's glasses might block some of Ben's like brainwaves.
It does. I think they have some powers to them.
It would be a bot, like they would hit the powers would hit.
What type of special rules would we need to apply
how do we get this going?
To make a match happen? I think that those pay-per-views should sell.
What's the number?
Look, I don't want to volunteer my boss. It sounds like a really quick way to get fired for me to like volunteer my boss.
That's a pretty smart idea.
I think that
I'll volunteer to fight myself.
Ooh.
Okay, well there you go. I think that
I'll fight PFT or Gina. I think
Gina versus PFT.
I think Gina was hired specifically to like handle all of these scenarios.
Right, as security, more or less.
She's thrown into every fight. Yeah.
What does Shapiro weigh, do you think? Because I'm like 110, 120.
No, I think he's there's actually, you should Google it. There's a picture of him flexing where he's got some guns. You're gonna think I'm kidding. The man works out.
You're kidding.
He's a tough guy. No, you can look it up. Again, this is me being smart, hyping up my boss and making sure I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, no, you're good.
Well, is he north of 5'6"? Is he north of 5'6"?
Oh, definitely. Which is
Cabot, if he
says he's
this,
what, like 5'9"?
PFT is like 5'3".
Generous.
He's like 5'3". Cabot, if your boss sees this, tell him to retweet this fucking thing.
Well, on that note, Cabot, I got to ask you. So I noticed something about the Daily Wire and your podcasts, and I need a little inside baseball here. I'm going to put up a graphic, and it's going to show the podcast covers for the Daily Wire's biggest shows. I believe it's Clavin, Knowles, Matt Walsh, Candace Owens, and Shapiro. And you'll notice something that's similar with everyone but Shapiro. Here it is. Can you tell me what it is that everyone's doing that Ben's not? And
that's because the hand on the face is pondering. Clearly, they're pondering because there's something they don't know. Ben is so smart. There's nothing left for him to ponder. He doesn't need to go off and do the pondering.
Good answer.
Yeah. So everyone's in their face. Pandemic, during the pandemic too. Dangerous.
The other thing I would say is put up a screenshot of the charts, and you'll also notice all those people at the top of the charts. So maybe there's something we can learn there. I don't know. Just saying.
Yep, I hear you.
It's not like a mandate where Shapiro's like, you guys touch your faces and I don't touch my face. You got it.
None that I'm aware of. I'm not totally up to date there.
Is he a fascist as a leader? Does he rule with an iron fist?
by today's standards of fascism, definitely a fascist. I mean, it seems like something that you can throw around pretty easily. So, yeah,
the definition has gotten pretty loose, though.
Okay. Well, honestly, the reason we're asking about it a lot is because the only one we know is the Daily Wire. Because of Ben Shapiro, there's a lot of daily callers and we don't know which one's which.
What,
like,
you could really step in some shit.
Yeah,
mixing those up, the Daily versus the Daily
we
Wire.
Started entering our name in the fray of this too because we have a new segment, right?
The Daily Buzz. Yeah. So we do trending topics. You got to back off that one, Cabot. Daily Buzz is all ours.
Okay,
that's us.
We're getting our lawyers to make sure we don't have any.
Oh, good, good. Well, I mean, we're getting our foot in the door too, because there's like a race, daily caller, a lot of dailies, and here's some trending topics that you might have an interest in. I'd like to hear your opinion on Jim Acosta's shirt when he got his vaccine.
Did you see that?
I did see it. Yeah, it's honestly, I don't know if there's anything more obnoxious than I think journalists on both sides do this, but thinking that they're these brave heroes and thinking that they're shining a light on all this and there's this real risk posed to them doing it. It's if you're in some authoritarian country, yeah, you're a hero if you're a journalist, but there is no journalist in America that should ever consider themselves a hero. And I'm wondering what was going through Jim Acosta's mind when he ordered that shirt, because I don't think he actually made it. I'm pretty sure they sell those shirts at the White House Correspondents website. But when he saw that, he was like, I can order a shirt that will show everyone all the things I reported on this year. That's what I need to do.
Who's buying that shirt?
The mindset
besides him. Yeah, and also who's the market for that shirt? Only Jim Acosta? Who? How many units did they sell?
I honestly don't know. It would be us wearing shirt a blogger version of that, being in 2020 I blogged about this and I ate this many.
I farted into a chair X many times.
It's a concert shirt.
Yeah, it is a concert shirt. We cover the world news and Florida Man every Friday, so we really have are the heroes here. We're really putting it out there for the people.
I mean,
I kind of like the shirt.
Taking it on the chin.
You like that?
You like that?
Well,
shirt?
I mean, it's just I think he's trying to say man, that was a crazy year, right? I mean,
why didn't he just say it's a crazy year then?
Well, is that going to create waves, bro? Is that going to create controversy?
Is there on the back? Is it his own hand patting himself? Is that the
get in mind of Acosta?
I'd have to look at it again, but the attitude, the vibe I got from it was woe is me, my job's tough, I did all this stuff. Not
I'm a warrior.
Not like the people that actually died in all these scenarios deserve the praise. It's me that's reporting on it. That is
not the people in Myanmar.
Yeah.
Right. It would have been a huge cherry on top if that shirt was actually made by the Uyghurs. That would have been the ultimate.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna look into that, by the way, because if it is,
do the research.
You probably just gave us a chance to own him with facts and logic. So that's probably
breaking story. All right, next trending topic in the Daily Buzz: Lil Nas X Satan shoes. What do you think?
This one I'm conflicted on. My grandmother did call me about this and was very, very concerned and was saying how this was, the demise of America and all of that. So
don't buy the shoes.
I do partially agree with her. I'm a Christian. I believe in Satan, so I don't like all the stuff of.
You don't like the satanic imagery.
Not a big fan of the satanic imagery. I'd be lying if I said I was.
Sure.
At the same time, though, it's dude, everyone who's dunking on him, you're kind of just playing into what he wants to sell sneakers. The whole point of him is that he's a shock artist. I just don't really understand why it's some huge deal. I think it's negative that it's indicative of a broader trend of going down the
outrage
pro Satan route. Yeah, but at the same time, it's dude, you're falling into his whole thing. He just wants to sell sneakers, and you're giving
freedom of speech.
Well, we had tossed around the idea of creating our own shoes with some of our own semen inside of them. What do you think about? What do you think about that idea?
Just
stickies.
What are the benefits that come with it? I guess I would have to ask.
Oh, did you
absolutely none.
What are the benefits that come with it?
We have very potent sperm. We have a lot of kids, so we're just pumping them out. So those shoes are going to do the job.
We're not going to charge. We're not going to charge much for them.
Yeah, our sperms are like ovary homing missiles, bro.
Give them
people will pay.
That's what you get. Speaking of potency, the last thing in the Daily Buzz: Matt Gaetz stepping down, potentially, and going to Newsmax. What are your thoughts?
Is Nestor in college? He needs to give him more time to his fake son, Nestor.
See, people are laughing about this, but actually, being a congressman is really not that influential. Like you have a few votes, and very rarely does your vote actually ever mean anything. And it's kind of funny because like people are saying, oh, this is the fall from whatever. Like I think you could argue that being a TV host is more influential than being a congressman. And so like,
not
if that's his goal, that's the thing. It's like, it depends on where the network is. I don't know what the role is. I think you'd have to give me a pretty sick role to leave being in Congress and also going to Newsmax.
COO and headache.
Confirmed, right? It's not confirmed. It's not like that's like
no, it's a rumor. Axios.
It's his friends like leaking it, which you gotta see who your friends are in the group chat that are doing that. Well, but that man's, I will say, I've met Matt before. He's a very nice guy. His hair somehow is even more like stationary in person than it is on screen.
It's like Jimmy Johnson.
It does, or Jimmy Neutron. It does either one. It does not move.
How horned up was he, Cabot? Did he try to finger you? You're an attractive dude. How
they do the wiggle, where he wiggles his finger on your palm when you shake hands?
Thankfully, I did not have this shirt on, or he might have. I just had a suit on, and so he wasn't really able to see what I was working with.
Yellow gets
I was able to avoid
red.
that.
It's red dresses that get him horny, Pat.
Yeah,
hair.
I will say, you go in some of these. I'm not going to name any names here, but you go in some of these like green rooms at different outlets, and you see like some of these congressmen that are going on air, and there's always like like the younger like TV personalities, females that come in. You should see some of these congressmen trying to lay down the game on some of these women that are going on, and they think they're being super smooth. And it's like so embarrassing for everyone watching because it's these really awkward, stiff environments where these dudes are like laying down the Mac and it's not working at all.
Well,
and
I mean, they surround themselves with like the interns who are like always like humoring it, right? And then so it's like they have this false sense of like everybody's into it.
I don't know. I mean,
just old men.
I don't know if it's official. I'm allowed to say this, but like, what friend of the program, Emily Finn and Newsmax is that official? Am I allowed to say that?
I think she did move there.
Okay, well, I'm a little concerned for if Matt Gaetz joins. They've got O'Reilly over there. Like she's like a blonde. I don't know.
Well, I think that's why Gaetz is leaving, dude. Because if you try to get as horny as that guy is, it's just he's a ticking fucking atomic bomb in an elected office, straight up. Now, you go into broadcast journalism, the rules are significantly relaxed, and that just means like Gaetz is going to be able to open the gates. If you know
Bill O'Reilly's at Newsmax.
O'Reilly O'Reilly Gaetz is like a tag team from hell for a blonde. Yeah.
He's very self-aware.
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, what we got? That was the last. That was the last. Nope, nothing needed. Thank Cabot. That was the last trending topic in the Daily Buzz. So
I got a topic. I'm getting my first vaccine on Wednesday. I think Will is too tomorrow.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the COVID passport? Like, what is all that about? Or like,
see, this is the thing. There's not really like is there a common definition for this? Because everyone's going off of different definitions for what it is.
We were going to ask you if you knew what it is.
There's varying levels. I think there's the idea of like a COVID passport in the sense of if you're coming back into the country or if you're traveling domestically, you need to have some kind of proof, which there's already kind of a precedent for. So I think that would be an easier one to stomach because it's like going to other countries. There's an expectation they can set who's coming in and who's going out. So I think those will be easier. Yeah. Those will be easier to get people on board with. It's the day-to-day stuff that'll be kind of the new interesting thing where like you have states where they don't require a mask, but they say in our store we do. So you don't have to, but in our store you do. I think it could be that way with vaccines where they're like the state doesn't say you have to get vaccinated, but it gets to the point where like it's not really tenable to be like a member of society without having it. And I think that's where you're going to see more of the fights. And that's where I do think it's reasonable for people to say like, hold on, like, is this something I'm basically being forced to get in the sense of I can't go into any restaurant.
Where's the line?
Right.
And that's where like there's going to be the really interesting like civil liberties battle. Like the ACLU has already come out and said it could be like discriminatory against people of color. So you're going to see like that angle. You're going to see the libertarian angle of like, boo, we don't like this. This is bad. And
you're going to see, dude, don't tread on me flags are going to be through the roof. If they make you like take it into like a restaurant or something to show it. Yeah, they're gonna have those flags are gonna. It's just gonna be like a parade of them.
That's what I was gonna ask next. Do you think like we're talking domestically now? I agree with you on international. You already have a passport, kind of makes sense. Whatever. Domestically, do you think it'll get to like the level of that granularity of like hotels, restaurants? Like you can't go to this hotel if you don't.
I don't too. Yeah.
I do think it's going to get there. I think the first year or two post-COVID will be really important. Like if we start seeing breakouts happen, I think we'll get to that point. I tend to think that if the numbers die down, like when you see Israel right now, their positivity rate's like well below 1%.
Yeah.
I don't think it's as necessary there because it's kind of like everyone's assuming that everyone's vaccinated. Here, I think if we start to see little flare-ups, you might see more commonality where places are requiring that. But there's all the legal ramifications. There's going to be a bunch of lawsuits about all this. And there's also going to be like an underground market of like a bunch of like anti-vax mommies that are like selling like fake vaccination cards on Reddit and stuff.
They got to do it on blockchain, man. They got to.
They already caught one. They already caught
Yeah.
like one pop-up that's trying to do like fake vaccine certifications or whatever. Yeah, I think there's definitely fraud.
Yeah, that would be like a who's who list of the people buying those right now.
It's such a boom industry, though. They got to get in and get out. Like this COVID vaccine thing might last like a full year, like the passport. So you got to really ramp up your business quickly. It's like seasonal lawn cutters, and then what do you do in the winter?
But scammers have been making a killing off the whole pandemic.
Well, that's why they're the ones that they're going to succeed at it. Is the scammers, the legit businesses? They're not going to be able to ramp up in time.
Did you see the guy that got caught he was claiming to different women that he was working with Anthony Fauci, and he was having them send him money, and he was like had all these women who were like enamored by the fact that he worked with Fauci, and it was like just all BS,
like a miniature super PAC for horny old ladies.
Yep, exactly.
Amazing. Yeah.
I also want to know like what kind of woman would be like, oh boy, you work with Fauci, like what's your Venmo? Like it's kind of a weird like pickup line way to get money, but
he's a sexy dude.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah.
What the star of a romance novel? Go ahead, Pat.
Cabot, what's your take on the Georgia voting laws that are coming through, which a lot of people are seeing as voting restrictions?
I personally, I think it's ridiculous. Honestly, I think the thing that's like most ridiculous is saying it's worse than Jim Crow or saying it's even at all tantamount to Jim Crow. I personally think that's like historical. If you don't actually know what Jim Crow is really about, if you think this is similar, and also I think it's insulting to people that actually lived under Jim Crow. And one interesting thing, I wrote an article about this yesterday at the Daily Wire, which is just me plugging there. But like, if this is supposedly something that's like super racist and that it's super going to impact Black people, 70% of Black people in a new poll supported the idea of requiring an ID to vote. And so if the criteria is this white supremacy to say that you should have an ID to vote, then why are 70% of Black people saying that's a reasonable thing to have to do? And I think there's also been like a lot of misinformation. The idea of they're denying water and snacks to people in line. That's completely taken out of context. What the law is basically saying is if you are affiliated with a certain campaign or if you are wearing campaign paraphernalia, you can't go solicit people in line. And sometimes people will do. They'll hand out a water bottle that has the campaign, literature on it and things like that. They're saying you can't do that. This isn't like this draconian law that they're trying to make it seem. And a lot of other states have very similar things. And so I do think it's good to like call out legislation in states. If you don't like it, like go for it. But I think this is like a lot of noise about something that's not actually that out of the ordinary.
Well, let me pose this to you. So in terms of the Jim Crow thing, because I wanted to talk to you about this because I saw some of your takes, specifically the license take. But there were 80 bills introduced between January and February to essentially restrict voting. And one of them was a bill that restricted early voting on Sundays, which pretty much everyone agrees is like a direct shot at Souls to Polls, which is a voting turnout movement in Black churches, right? So it's like clearly Trump came out and said there's a ton of voter fraud. I mean, Georgia flipped for the first time. They elected Democratic senators for the first time in 28 years. Presidential Democrat candidate for the first time since 1992. And I think they were sitting there being like, shit, we're losing power, especially like the Sunday thing freaks me out. And then like Georgia has historically long election lines, right? So it's like, I understand what they're trying to do, but if you add all these things up, right, it's one thing to say like, okay, you don't want someone from one party giving food and shit out, but if you add them all up, and then you consider the fact that like Georgia has a history of the runoff election thing, which is super fucking racist. It seems like it's racist. It seems like the party is freaking out because like shit, the Black vote got mobilized and we lost. And now our constituents are like, we got to do something about it. And the only thing they could do is like restrict voting access.
Yeah, I think the ironic thing too is if that was the intention, I don't know what the intentions were of the Republicans there. If that was the intention, they didn't lose the election because there was increased Black turnout. They lost the election because they were stupid talking about there being fraud in the state and because Donald Trump was lying about all this stuff that happened in Georgia that didn't actually happen.
The Senate election.
That's why they lost the Senate runoff there. Right, and like I think the whole idea of like Trump coming in being like, well, your vote doesn't actually count because the election's already been decided. Like with zero evidence to actually prove that. And you've got all these Republicans in Georgia that are saying, no, that didn't happen. Like, Trump, you're lying here. This is wrong. So like that, I think, was the number one thing that actually swayed the election the other way.
Right.
And and like within the actual bill, again, I think there are parts of it that are like, for example, like shutting down the early voting period, saying, we're not going to have it going for a month and a half ahead of this, or if there's a runoff, it's not going to be a 2-month runoff afterwards. It's going to be 3 weeks afterwards. I think stuff like that is quite reasonable. And I do think that a lot of people in the Black community that we've interviewed and that we've seen in some of these polls, they feel like it's offensive to them to imply that they aren't able to find other ways to vote, or that they are somehow they have less access to an ID, or that somehow that's going to hold them back. And I think that that's like a perfectly reasonable thing for them to feel that way.
Yeah, totally. If you're looking at a Black person and saying like, hey, they're saying you can't get an ID, right? That's fucked up. But
or that you only vote on Sundays.
Well, it's the sum. Well, it's the sum of all the parts. It's the sum of all the parts.
The house on Sundays,
but is it also just like when a party has power in a state, they tend to manipulate voting laws?
They're just trying to win.
They're reacting to election losses,
right?
Yeah.
But
is that also just historically true?
But you got.
I don't know enough to say so, but I got to point out. I imagine it is.
I think a big part of it is.
Oh, Cabot, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, no, I think a big part of it is Republicans in the state are realizing, hey, our base has been misled by Donald Trump to think that our elections aren't safe. And like, let's be honest, like Trump lied to all the people in Georgia and told them that the election was rigged. Like, it was a fair election in Georgia. He lost. He told everyone there, your elections are rigged. So all these Republicans who know the elections weren't rigged, they're like, we got to do something to show our voters that we're taking election integrity seriously.
To appease the base, because these fucking
to appease the base.
We see a lot of like despicable behavior these days for that reason, right? Like these people that are
from
like,
both sides, absolutely.
That's politics,
we have to appease the base on that. And so I do think there might be stuff where they're like, hey, we're taking action here, here, and here. And I think the motives are just for them to say, we're going to tighten down the amount of time that we're voting so there's less opportunities. We're going to make it more clear what is required of you to vote. And I think a big part of it is them kind of appeasing the voting bloc. But I just think there's not really any evidence that this is directly aimed at impacting voters of color. And I think it is a very overwrought comparison to say this is tantamount to the Jim Crow era, and that this is tantamount to a time when there was segregation and where there was lynching in the streets. And I understand.
On the Jim Crow thing, real quick, Cabot, real quick. So 58 years ago, right? Okay, in Georgia, that's when this guy, Marc Grover, right? He lost an election due to what he called the Negro block. And his theory was that Black voters could pool all their votes to one candidate, right? And this is why the runoffs exist, because they were like, man, if all the Black people pool against white people, right, and the whites' votes are split amongst white candidates, we do a runoff, and then all the whites will vote white. So, and he came out and said straight up, that's why I did it, to keep the Blacks down. That was 58 years ago. So it is tantamount to Jim Crow. We had a runoff election this year in the Senate, and people voted in it that were eligible voters 58 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, so it is kind of like we had the same runoff election.
Wouldn't you say though, Pat, that the 2020 election was a shit show in general,
total shit show
across the entire country? And so now when people are making laws to try to absolve it from being such a shit show next time, is that tantamount to Jim Crow?
I think it's a reaction to a lie. It's a reaction. We all agree that Trump lied to everyone, and it's an overreaction to his lie because the base believes it. That's stupid.
But what I would also say though on that, like, just because that happened 58 years ago, and just because elements of what was said there about runoff elections being used for nefarious purposes in that case, just because the same thing might have been passed similar, the motivation is completely different, and the reasons behind them. Like, there are states all around the country that have runoff elections that likely had nothing to do with any history of racism. It's a pretty common thing to have. California has a jungle primary, and that's you could argue that could be historical.
Well, it's not a good name. It's not a good name.
Well, we almost named the show Woke AF, actually. Yeah. What do you think of that name, Cabot? You think it would have been
I don't think it's as catchy as what you guys got now.
Oh.
Nice.
Or as indicative of your hosts.
Let's move on, Cabot. Good debate on that.
Yeah, Cabot, I want to ask you, I want to switch directions real quick, because I noticed, I was looking at your YouTube channel, and I noticed that you and your brother created one of my personal favorite YouTube viral videos where you tricked your sister after she had gotten her wisdom teeth out and was high on pain pills or whatever the anesthetic was, and you tricked her to believe there was a zombie apocalypse, and you start, if you haven't watched the video, maybe we'll insert it here, but it's fucking fantastic. And so wanted to kind of talk about that and a little bit, but also you appeared on Ellen and wanted to ask you about that experience, whether or not you saw any abuse of staffers while you were there.
Is she a monster?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, my sister was she was high on painkillers, yeah, but we just had to come up with a wisdom teeth surgery afterward thing just to make it not, make people think that it was like, wisdom teeth. No, it was wisdom teeth. That's why I did this. No, I was late. I just worked on the Marco Rubio presidential race in 2016. RIP to that. Didn't go well. And so I was unemployed as campaign.
Oh no, little Marco? Was that?
Well,
was that
his ears are too big to be president. I'm going to say it again. His ears are too big.
He could hear the cries of all the American people very well with those ears. I was just like unemployed. I went back to my parents for a while. My sister got her wisdom teeth out, and I was like watching Walking Dead with my brothers. And we were like, dude, I bet you could like stage a zombie apocalypse pretty easily with some like gullible people. My sister got her teeth out. We staged this big elaborate thing. We had like a fake radio CDC warning recording my buddy made for us. We had like suitcases in our yard as if there was some like crazy thing going on. And I actually like was not super into YouTube before that. It wasn't really my thing. And so we had a few videos for that. They got a couple little hits, and we put that up. I just kind of shared it on YouTube, like for our family. I didn't really think everyone else would think it was funny. And then we woke up and it was like the #1 video on YouTube, #1 video on Reddit. And it had like 6 million views. And then by noon, we were like flying to LA for the Ellen show.
Wow.
And it was sick. The show is cool. Honestly, like there was a little bit of a sense of like, I think people on staff were very clearly like intimidated by her. And
tell us about it.
Mm-hmm. You could tell, like, I don't want to
have like dog collars and shit. Were they
like a royal courtroom or
They're
not going back on Ellen Cabot. Spill the beans.
I think people were very on edge around her. I heard some rumors that like people weren't supposed to like look at her or talk to her like around to like save like social energy to make because it could.
She's like a silverback gorilla, like a male silverback.
She can't waste the
Don't make
eye
contact with
her.
She's like the queen.
She's like Medusa.
And so I will say they were like super. I was thinking like, oh, I'm this like conservative like guy, and she's like obviously not. What's going to happen? And they were cool. They were like, hey, she knows about what you just did for a living. Like, she doesn't care. This is just about like fun videos right now. Like, politics won't come up. So I was like, kudos to you guys for that. That's cool. But yeah, they did tell us not to hug her, which was kind of funny, because she had like a back injury of some kind from I think it was like mountain biking.
Definitely the back injury.
Yeah.
So they were like
from carrying the fucking show. Yeah. I've got a back injury.
They're giving away all these. I'm carrying these cars that I'm giving to these like single moms and teachers and stuff. And so they were
conservatives,
like, they were like, she has like her people will like run and like tackle her, and it's like just it can be dangerous. So like. If you look at the video, we like all my siblings, I like air hug her when we get on stage, which is kind of funny. And then the only thing I'll say after that, we were like walking off stage, and my sister and I are like leaving, and this giant of a human like jumps out in front of us, and I thought it was like a prank for the show. And I'm like looking for cameras, and it was just Shaquille O'Neal just like messing with us.
Oh,
and
nice! Just wearing a Shaq jersey right now.
Oh, there you go. He was hiding backstage, and so that was crazy. And then
he's like, "You didn't hug Ellen, did you?"
That's cooler than meeting Ellen. Meeting Shaq.
Yeah,
Shaq's the man.
And you know who was with him? Dr. J was with him, so we got to talk to Dr. J for a minute. And then the girl who's Khaleesi in Game of Thrones. I don't know her name. Amelia Clark.
Amelia Clark.
It was like the greatest green room. Much better than watching Matt Gaetz like flirt with people in a green room. That was a much better green room.
Yeah, much drier too, I bet. But so that's like just Shaq's hobby, scaring people. It sounds like.
Apparently, it comes very easily to him.
My favorite part of the video is when you ask the cat or the dog. She's like, "Of course, the fucking cat. Are you kidding?"
The dog's worthless.
Yeah.
That video, we just had someone reach out about turning that video into an NFT, and they want to like buy it.
Oh wow!
Wow.
I've been listening to. I mean, obviously,
diamond hands. You got to drive the price up.
I don't know anything about it, but the PMT guys have been talking about like Top Shot and NFTs. Yeah. So I'm thinking this might be an opportunity for me to.
You could probably make over $100,000 on that.
Cabot, hit me on the NFT play. I'm deep in that space.
You could make 6 figures.
Well, you must have made over $100,000 on that video because it's got 24 million views, right?
My sister paid for a good bit of college with it, and it was legit. And it's kind of weird how that whole space works. Like when you have a video go viral, I don't know how much you guys do this stuff where like you'll get like all these licensing companies like reach out to you, and it's like a bidding war where they all want to get like a licensing fee from you.
The action.
And so we got to like sit there. My sister like put on this she put on her like girl power playlist, and she's like getting her nails done, like fielding all of these offers from people that are trying to buy the video from her. And so that was like the only way that we convinced her to let us publish it, was like telling her, obviously you get all the money that we make.
Also, you probably gave her more Percocets.
Yeah,
for that too.
Yeah.
Well, look, if that cat's still around, or if you have any other cats, there's a new premier cats yawning account on Twitter. And if you send over any pictures or videos of your cats yawning, I might have a way to get them on that Twitter account. So
It's exclusive.
I'm just assuming that this is yours.
Well,
Be fucking cool, Cabot.
I mean, well, it's ours.
Sure,
You know, it's
yeah.
everyone's, because they get to enjoy the cats yawning.
All right. Well, yeah, Cabot, we appreciate you being here, brother. And look, if you could set up the Shapiro fight, here's the deal. We'll cut you in and we'll figure it out. But
well, we're all gonna wet the beak. If
exactly. I mean, your
happen.
sister could get her doctorate with the Shapiro.
Yeah.
See if you can make that happen. And if not, what do you weigh? How tall are you? What do you weigh? Because
It's like 6'2", 180.
oh, we can't have that. You got a foot on.
that's
you
the
got
a
reach.
brutal.
That's
Brutal.
the reach you would have over PFT. It would just
Yeah, but PFT could wear those like spring shoes that he wears. The ones that
yeah, he would need spring arms. I think. Oh gosh, we're gonna have to.
Although we could work something out where I could take a flop like Jose Canseco and then just make it easy on PMT and
Well, look, Cabot, go to Shapiro if you don't mind today, and tell him that. Ask him if he'll do it for charity, and see what he says, please.
Yeah, you're going on vacation for a week. What do you have to lose?
my job. But other than that, I mean, I don't know.
Thanks.
Well,
Cabot.
we're shooting for the moon always, Cabot. Thank you for coming on.
Yeah,
Talking to us.
absolutely, fellas. You guys are the best.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Thanks for joining the show, Cabot. That was fun. Let's take care of a little business. I want to talk about a product that I use all the time, and it's stamps.com. And I'm going to be honest with you, share a little inside baseball, if you will. If you want to succeed in business, one way to do that is to remember what people like and then send them gifts at certain times. It's something that I employ constantly. You will be amazed at what kind of relationships you can build, what kind of clients that you can maintain by sending a gift here or there. And
A well-placed cookie or something like that.
my God. Or like you write it down. You write down something. This is something that Gary Vee says, right? Like write down something they like and send it to them. Some people use like Constant Contact for all that stuff. Who knows? There are things to keep track of it. Regardless, what I use to ship the stuff, stamps.com. Here's why. Shipping a package is a pain in the ass. Going to the post office sucks. I get those manila folders, the manila envelopes. I'll put whatever I'm working with in there, and I'll print out a label just on regular 8.5 by 10, 8.5 by 11 paper, and I'll tape it to the envelope, drop it in my mailbox, and bam, it's on the way. I've been using it forever, and it's fantastic, and I recommend you guys use it too. And if you do it right now, there's a no risk opportunity. If you use the promo code Hard Factor, that's one word, Hard Factor, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale, which is insane. Guys, it's totally worth it, honestly. Just check it out. Go to stamps.com, and at the top of the website, there's a microphone deal at the top of the page. Click on that, and then pop in the promo code Hard Factor, one word. That's stamps.com, promo code Hard Factor. You will never go to the post office again. You can also print stamps from there. I'm not lying when I say I use this stuff all the time, and it's so convenient. So check it out.
Game changer. Absolute game changer, stamps.com. All right. Our other sponsor today. Fellas, ask me how I'm kicking off Fat Boy Summer. Just ask me real quick.
How are you kicking off Fat Boy Summer, Will?
Yeah.
With a tall, cool glass of Caliper CBD. Could you use some stress relief, more calmness, pain relief, and easier sleep in your life?
That's Calm Boy Summer, yes.
Yeah, if so, longtime Hard Factor sponsor Caliper CBD has what you need. Anytime I need a little chill out, I just reach for a 20 milligram packet of Caliper CBD. I'll pour it into any drink or food because it's tasteless, and I'm chilling out 10 minutes later every time. This past January, Colorado State University published the first peer-reviewed study to compare how different CBD products on the market are absorbed and processed by the body. Caliper CBD was found to deliver 30 times more CBD than the CBD oil in the first 30 minutes. So
That was from a university study.
Wow.
yeah, 30 times better.
I bet Big Tincture tried to put the kibosh on that article or that study coming out. Yeah.
No, the Colorado State Rams just rammed that study straight up their hoops. And that's how you know Caliper CBD is the absolute best thing you can do. Best CBD you can get. Put it in your protein shake, your coffee, your baked goods, even plain water. Individual packets are convenient, THC free, non-GMO, boxes of 30 or 60. It's the best CBD out there, period. And right now, get 20% off your first order when you use promo code FACTOR at trycaliper.com/factor. You can try Caliper CBD risk-free for 30 days. If you don't love it, they'll give you a full refund, which you won't need. That's trycaliper.com/factor. Don't forget promo code FACTOR for 20% off your first order. Cheers, boys, to Fat Boy Summer with Caliper CBD.
Make it part of your daily routine.
Okay, guys, let's talk a little story time. So, you know how everyone wants to be on camera these days? Everyone's a vlogger or a YouTuber or a podcaster. It's
right. Did you see
disgusting.
That study on Twitter? It was like, what are the top jobs kids want? It was
it's
our
disgusting.
Job.
Oh, really?
Disgusting. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Bunch of fucking prima donnas.
So many of us. Low lifes out
here.
here.
Gotta roll the camera. I need interns to help set up the shot. Anyways, well, maybe you should lay low on the posting of videos, especially if you're an ex-mafia member of the largest, most powerful mafia in Italy, even more powerful than Sicily-based and famous Cosa Nostra, the Ndrangeta mafia based in the Calabria region, which is the boot in southwest Italy. Maybe you shouldn't post videos if you're like a mafia
They're even
member.
more hardcore than Sicily.
Way more hardcore. The Ndrangeta mafia controls pretty much all of the cocaine that comes into Europe, and it's featured in a pretty good Amazon original series 000. So they're like the real mafia now. Yeah. So 53-year-old Marc, Feren, Claude, Biart, who was living a quiet life on the lam in the Dominican Republic, didn't get that memo, and I guess got bored and thought, maybe I can start a viral video cooking series on YouTube with my wife.
Oh, that's sweet. But also, that's really not considerate because they have terrible internet over there, and I bet that was taking up a ton of bandwidth coming out of Italy. So
yeah, it was really slow. It was like a 30-minute video, but it was like 3 minutes of cooking.
Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah. Also, the pending felonies, also not considerate.
Well,
to have your buddies, your wife especially, in a video with you.
Apparently, he was very standoffish, especially to Italian people in the Dominican, because he didn't want to run into anyone he knew. Or he was known as the quiet foreigner to the locals.
El Dickhead.
Yeah, El Dickhead. He cooked Italian foods, obviously, and constantly boasted about his authentic Italian cooking on the channel. I was like, this is the spaghetti I used to make for Donna Rottini. Oops. I mean, my accounting friends from our accounting jobs, yeah. Biart hid his face in the videos, but he didn't hide his very distinct tattoos. So 7 years after fleeing Italy for being wanted for cocaine trafficking in the Netherlands, the big dummy was arrested in Boca Chica and extradited back to Italy. So, yeah. Oops.
Whoops.
Sorry there. This guy. Yeah. Anyways, it's like, I think you're going to like this one. It's a personal favorite of Donna Ravioli. I mean, regular guy. Marco.
He made it in the prison. But...
like he recreates the scene of like cutting the garlic so thin with the razor.
Yeah.
You think he would know? Like he had to be quiet. Like what's his?
He's so arrested. Apparently, they're cracking down on that crime family. Someone else like got arrested in Portugal. He was on the run for 14 years. He was like one of the main guys in the Ndrangeta family. But I pretty much did this story so I could. Say the word Don and then a type of like spaghetti afterwards. I had a lot of joy writing the story doing that. It's Don Rottini.
That's amazing. So like that'll the draw of being a vlogger.
Yes,
will draw you to like basically admit to your federal crimes. Just
everyone needs an outlet.
A guy facing life in prison had to do a cooking show.
Wow.
Yeah.
Idiot.
Also, it wasn't that popular because I searched for 30 minutes and couldn't find it. So it wasn't like he was doing numbers.
Yeah, it's like 500 views.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty stupid.
I mean, I get it's your passion, but come on.
Yeah. They'll never know.
Pending charges.
I'll hide my face.
Remind me to send you guys the video. There's my favorite cooking video of all time. My buddy sent it to me. It's like this fat Italian guy cooking sauce, and he's just wheezing the whole time. He's like,
Fat Boy Summer.
Yeah, he's in on the Fat Boy Summer. He can barely breathe. All right, last story of the day, guys. This one comes from Barstool, Next Man Up, my man Tank Barstool. I got a question for you guys. Are you guys organ donors on your license, driver's license? Yeah,
I think so. I don't know.
Yeah, but I won't be after this story, probably.
No, I think I was scared away from it.
Okay.
What's mine's I keeps.
That's right. That's a good philosophy, and this story is exactly why I am not an organ donor. It's crazy to be an organ donor in my
Wait,
opinion.
hold on. I was kidding. You are not an organ donor?
No,
I'm not either. Yeah.
Oh,
Just
okay.
checked it.
Absolutely not. You're an idiot.
Confirmed.
Yeah, it's not smart to be an organ donor, and I'll tell you why. This is a PSA. I want you to listen up closely. If you are one of those people that think you're a do-gooder by having that little organ donor symbol on your license, you may want to go to the DMV immediately and get that shit taken off because it could save your life. So in the UK, a teen who was pronounced dead after getting hit by a van, Lewis Roberts, he's 18 from Blackshaw Moor, Staffordshire. Here he is. Here's a picture of him. He's a Yankees fan.
Oh, it looks healthy, young.
Yeah. I think that was a before picture, but so he laid.
That's before the van hit him.
Yeah. Definitely before.
See him now.
Yeah. He was hit by a van back on March 13th, and he laid.
Flatter.
Yeah, he's way flatter.
Yeah, he can't open his eyes. He laid in a hospital bed for 4 days on life support. His relatives were told by doctors that he had suffered a, quote, brain stem death. So he's just brain dead, had zero chance of surviving, right? And this quote is from someone who had set up a fundraiser for the teens that says, quote, after saying goodbye to Lewis, close family bravely agreed for his organs to be donated to help the lives of 7 other people.
Whoa.
Okay? So, that seems like a nice thing to do. Your son is brain dead. Might as well, put his organs to good use. At that point, he's definitely dead, right?
Yeah, supple 18-year-old organs. Those are some of the best organs.
Oh, high dollar.
Hopefully they weren't donating his brain.
Yeah.
No, not his
barely
brain.
legal organs.
Yeah.
Nope. So, however, just hours before the bastards were going to cut the teen open and steal his perfectly good organs, a miracle happened. He started breathing on his own, and now every day he is getting stronger. He's blinking his fucking eyes. He's responding to pain tests. He's moving his head, his limbs. It looks like he's going to make a full recovery. And he was almost harvested, basically.
Hold on.
So this is why you shouldn't be an organ donor.
That's right.
4 days? They lasted
days.
4 days.
Yep. On life
4
support,
days
yeah.
for an 18-year-old kid. 4 days.
Yeah.
They couldn't
So
have waited
West.
5, 6, a
So
month.
West.
This kid must be not well liked for them to be like, well, yeah, we
Wes,
gave
you
it all.
They
We gave it
just
our
cut him
shot.
open, Pat. Yeah, they don't like him
Right.
at all.
Are you
Those
telling me,
96
Wes,
hours.
there was like an organ collector guy in there, like sharpening knives and shit, like just like harassing people, like, hey,
He's
let
like,
me get
this,
these organs.
he's like, this is day 3.
He ain't waking up, guys. Yeah.
I seen this before.
Right.
You might as well. It save yourselves the pain.
All we got is time. We can wait. He doesn't have time, but we got time.
You guys have insurance? Oh, this must cost you.
He's on the phone making black market fucking ads.
He's loudly talking to people. Like, no, he's not going to recover.
100K.
No, there's no chance.
100K. I said 100K.
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you hear me sharpening?
He's 18.
The van really got him good.
He's a world class kid.
He's one of the flattest guys I've ever seen.
So now big organ harvesting is trying to spin this whole fucking story to make you think that the fact that he was an organ donor maybe bought him a little time, more time on the life support machine. So they're saying that because he was an organ donor, it gave him the extra time. And then during that little window that they were going to use, if he hadn't been an organ donor, they just would have shut him off and buried him with his organs. But
They were ready to kill him after a long weekend, man.
Yeah.
Like, it was, yeah. Are you kidding?
yeah. So that's what they're trying to spin it as, but he's alive and he was just hours away from being in someone else's body.
Back from the grave.
I got
Yes.
a counterpoint for you, Wes. What if you know you're an organ donor, so like your body in this type of situation like wakes up because it's like this guy's about to cut you open.
Yeah, I'm taking I'm gonna leave it off my driver's
Leaving
license.
it off the card. This is a great kickoff to Fat Boy Summer. I mean, this is a Lazarus story right here. Back from the grave.
How the hell did this story get out? Is my question. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
if you
Well, I
see
mean,
him
he's
start
alive.
blinking
He's
at the
gonna-
eyes,
his family's going to tell people.
you
It's a
pretend.
fantastic story. It's a miracle.
It's not a fantastic story, man. I'd be fucking
Well,
pissed.
for him, it's great.
You think if the organ guy was like in the room and he was the only one in the room, he would have suffocated him if he heard him.
Absolutely.
100%. Yeah.
Take matters into my own hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you go get some coffee? Yeah.
I don't know what happened. It doesn't look good. He looks blue.
Yeah, exactly.
We better get these organs quick.
No, I've never
before they
seen
go
it
bad.
bad.
Yeah, so I mean, it's crazy, but that kind of shit can happen. So,
well, I just felt the Holy Spirit. Did you guys feel the Holy Spirit in the room? I think
pennies over his eyes.
He's gone.
Oh
yeah,
man,
he's alive. He's alive and well.
Good.
So good for him. Good for Lewis. Good for his family. And that's
Yeah.
going to do it for Hard Factor. Thank you all for listening. We hope you enjoyed that interview with Cabot. We are working on getting more guests. So if you have any suggestions or connections, shoot us a DM, and we'll try our best to get those people on. Also, don't forget to submit those 5-star reviews on iTunes. We will read them as long as they are not racist and 5 stars. And leave us a voicemail 512-270-1480. We will get to those on Friday's show, I believe. We got some new Fat Boy merch coming out, like we mentioned at the beginning of the show. So follow our socials at Hard Factor News for that. Share, like, comment, tell a friend. We love you guys, and we hope you have a great fucking day.